Hey everybody, this is hazard-reborn and welcome to another episode of Let's Play Warframe. With this video I mostly wanted to cover the Melee 2.0 mechanics and whatever you need to know on that. But I'm also going to take this chance to talk a little bit about the content that has been released with patch 13 as well. Among the most obvious additions we have a new Warframe, which is Hydroid, Space Pirate Cross Ninja. His powers mimic that of the sea, Tempest Barrage, Tidal Surge, Undertow, and Tentacle Swarm. Kind of like a Cthulhu-ish design as well on him, as well as very pirate-like and ninja at the same time. So it's a pretty cool addition, just so we can see what he looks like through the codex itself. That's Hydroid, where is he? Hydroid right here. It's a nice new addition for a little bit more of an extra variety to the game. Now, apart from that, another addition in the content that we have are some weapons. The the most important ones of those is the Attica, which is a crossbow. I myself have not built one of these yet to showcase it. They added the Attica, if I can find them, Nami and Skyla, which are these two pirate swords here, look pretty cool with the whole energy glow on them. Then we have the Nikana, which this is amazing. I've been waiting for this sword for so long. It's a katana finally. Finally we get our hands on a katana. And its upgrade, which is a little bit different in its shape, mostly the scabbard, the sheath looks different. It's the Dragon Nikana, which has double the stats. That's the biggest difference between them. And a small difference in its looks as well. It's got a little bit of a different model on it. Here with the circle and everything. Those are mostly the visual additions that we have in terms of weapons and warframes. I don't think I'm missing out on anything. That's more or less the content, I think. I'll get back to this anyway. I mean, I'm only going over very roughly patch 13. This video is mostly for the Melee 2.0. For those who want to jump straight to the action, you can click right here on this icon and get straight away to the Melee 2.0 part of the video. For those of you that might like an overview of the patch 13, as I was saying, we have content additions in Warframe and the new weapons. Let me see if there is something else that I could possibly have missed out on. There are some additions, new ones, in terms of the appearance upgrades on melee weapons. You go here, you'll notice that they have added accessories. I'm not sure if it was before patch 13 and it was unaccessible. I think they added the whole thing as an option now. And you go in here and you have a whole bunch of different accessories that you can buy, which is some hanging little dangling thingies here and there. This one here is more for the pirate look. Some people might want to be getting at. And my favorite one, this one here, which is it's just pretty cool. And they're all for all kinds of weapons. For the Jewel Kama, for example, that looks really nice. That one there. If he actually pulls the Jewel Kama out, there we go. They really complement the weapons and make it look awesome. Along with some small additions like that. I mean, they always keep adding things like that, but they're minor content additions that we're all grateful for. Okay, another difference with the menu systems, I've found that the inventory has been changed a little bit. Now we have in our own inventory new categories of our resources are separate from our miscellaneous blueprints and things that we can build. From keys, I think that was already on a separate tab, to gear. I think all that was on one. and that's one difference that they made in the user interface. They've improved and they've changed the chat box itself a little bit. They added, okay, let's take this one by one. They added some extra options here on the clan, which makes it finally a little bit easier. Okay, that is pretty much what they changed in here. That you don't have the options that you had before of clans, friends, alliance on the side and stuff. You know, it's just a chat box now. It's purely a chat box. So they just divided that, and they took some of the options in it for clan management and all that, and they put them in its own menu, like this here. And here you can see who's online, pending requests or pending invitations, offline members. Enter the clan dojo from here straight away. You have a clan log. Finally, you can see what's been happening in the clan. It's dated back to a couple months ago, I'm seeing. You can have your clan management from here, invite, edit ranks, message of the day, and view alliance. Now we're in this alliance here. This is the new addition that they made in the game. Basically, you team up with different clans. That's all there is to it, more or less. That's an alliance. More than one clan teaming together. One of the nice additions that they made to this is this little window here, which says no sessions available at the moment. When a friend of yours is in a game that can be joined, you'll see all the different types of games here, and you'll be able to select the one that you want and press join on it. With this new addition of changes, they've added this little button up here, which is friends, and it's pretty much under the same mentality of the clan window. Same thing. Again, you have your pending friends, online friends, offline friends, and again, you can join your friends from here. At the moment, no sessions available. You can add a friend here. Recruit Tenno, which takes you out to the main web page where you can send invitations to other people that are not part of Warframe at all, and you also get some bonus XP and stuff from that as well. You can view your recent players here now, all the people that you have played in the last days or so. The biggest addition to the gaming content from then on, apart from the weapons and the Warframe, is the clan dojo. They brought out some really cool rooms. You can create this new Orokin research lab, from which you create this dark sector rails, I think they're called. Unfortunately, I don't have enough formers at the moment to build that section of the ship and the dojo, so I'll get back to that when I can and make a video exclusively for the dojo content, which takes us to the next edition as well of the game, which is the dark sectors. Heading off into maps, one will notice that now we have these new little icons here. Basically, these dark conflicts are just like little missions on each planet, and they're available only from when a specific alliance builds a dark sector railway, and you use that to head over into those different locations, those dark sectors, and complete missions. The difference with this and other missions is that you have a little bit of an extra, there's a higher drop rate of resources, and there is also a kind of like a taxation percentage, you might say, to the alliance that has built the rail itself. They adjust it, of course, and it's a good way for alliances and clans to be collecting materials and gather things without them doing anything, with other people actually playing on their dark sectors. Now, any other alliance can challenge the occupancy of a specific dark sector, as we see here in most of these. Once another alliance comes and builds a dark sector rail, they can come and build it in the same vicinity. Then that dark sector comes in conflict. You can play for whoever you want, up to two. There's a life bar on it, and it's pretty much another way of collecting resources again and getting battle pay offers from the different alliances to help them out in retaining their control of a specific dark sector. And it has a little bit of a politics system to it as well, according to the taxes, and you might actually end up being unhappy with a specific alliance and fight for someone else, and so on and so forth. These are more or less the small outline of the additions that they have made in patch 13. Now I'm going to head over into go solo, head over into map, and show you the biggest difference and addition to the patch, which is, it's pretty awesome in my opinion. It's the Melee 2.0.
There is a large platoon of Grenier Marine stationed here. Leave no one standing.
Okay, Melee 2.0. There has been a lot of debate on this. A lot of people are not really that happy with it. I am among those that are not just happy with this new system, I am really happy with it. The biggest, one of the biggest changes that you will notice is the fact that your melee now has a limit of 2 moves. Okay, this specific weapon here, the Nikana, has 2 moves anyway. If you don't have a, just go somewhere where there's more shadow, a lot of glow here. Alright, the Nikana itself has 2 hits anyway without a combo system, without a stance applied. I'll get into that later on. Basically, you'll notice that your moves are limited and you have a quick attack now. That's all you have. You do not have a charge. You know, holding down the button does not charge it. You still have your air attack. You still have the wall attacks, slide attacks. And you'll also notice that you have no block. I'm pressing block at the moment and he's doing nothing. And the biggest difference is that, as you will see, it will have no charge attacks and your attacks will feel limited. What they changed with Melee 2.0 is that now you can equip your melee weapons and work with those alone. Now, for the moment, I do not have a stance with the Nikana, as it's a rare mod to find and pretty hard to get your hands on. But you'll notice that, again, I do not have charge. I do have, however, a new addition, which is with the fire button, and that is channeling attacks, which gives more damage onto everything you do. And now I can also block. I also have channeling and block. And if you channel and block at the right time, you can also have a chance of parrying them. Anyway, there's been an entire overhaul in Melee 2.0. All the weapons feel stronger, especially with the new channeling attack. They are much stronger. You can actually block and you can move around as well. You have strafing as you block, which is another awesome thing. And I think there's also an auto attack option to it as well, and an auto direction. Let me see that. There have been some new options to the game as well, with controls and everything. Okay. Melee auto targeting. Melee auto targeting is very helpful, especially during some combos that are a little bit hard to aim, from what I've heard a lot of people say. Personally, I haven't experienced anything like that at the moment. Of course, with the Nikana, I do not have any combos, any stances. You cannot fire ranged weapons. You cannot zoom either. And they have separated ranged gameplay from melee gameplay. That pretty much changes the strategy of the game as well, in the way that you engage your enemies. You have to be much more aware of your surroundings now than before, because you do not have block and your quick attacks are limited compared to before. So you have to really, it forces you to create a strategy of playing around between ranged and melee, if that's one way you want to go about it. Another way you could go about it is to actually play just ranged or just melee. Now what that does is creates again a different form of strategy in the way and different approach to the entire game itself. You know, there can be some enemies that they're flying around and stuff, especially this Grenier that you might want to take down, and as you're fighting, you know, you just drop out to the bow, shoot them down. It has a little bit of a time delay. It has a larger time delay for the ranged weapons, so you can't switch to ranged weapons that quick, which makes sense as well. I agree to this. You don't want to be too it feels overpowered when you have such strong melee the way they have made it now. The way they have made it now, it feels too strong. When your melee is this powerful and you can block as well, which finally makes melee only strategy available to you. As you can see, I'm untouchable as long as I block.
You're on the sensors now. You've been detected.
And with a charge attack, you know, the weapon is rank 7 and these guys are rank 20 I think or something, and I can still wipe them out with no issues and no difficulty whatsoever. One of the major things with the block now, it's you can block anything pretty much. You can even block AoE at enemies charging you back, which makes you really much more powerful. Being able to block with your ranged weapon would have been overpowered. It really would have been way too much after that. So I think it's a good thing that they actually made the difference finally between the two. And you can also, in the menu, it's another thing I didn't show, I'm going to show right after this little demonstration here. Another thing that you can do now is you can unequip weapons entirely. So you can walk into the mission just with a melee weapon and nothing else on you. Which again is for a bit of a different challenge to it. The good thing about it is that you get more experience that way for a specific weapon. The area experience or whatever it's called for your weapons. Hello. The area experience for your weapons or general experience that is added to other weapons as you're fighting, even though you're not using them, it all goes over to one weapon now. So if you want to rank a specific weapon and play with just with that, you have that option now as well. Generally they buffed melee up, they added the block, you have the channeling system which allows for parries and a whole bunch of things. There's a lot of different modes on channeling as well, as I'll get to show later on. And you have the channeling with your attacks. You don't have charge attacks, but each weapon now can take on a stance, kind of like the auras on your Warframes. What happens with the stance is that they can give you extra mod capacity, and they give you extra combos as you rank them up for you to be able to perform. So these two attacks here will soon become a range of different attacks, and at the end of those attacks you have finisher moves. The finisher moves are what I would say the equivalents of the old charge attacks.
Ready for a fight.
Okay, let's just hack this so they don't become a pain. I would say that the finisher attacks are the equivalents of the old charge attacks. Even if they are, as some say, a little bit weaker, the fact that you can channel them and do the finisher attacks, it really does change the whole style of the game. Basically, a charge attack, a finisher attack now, might not have the same damage, but their animation allows for crowd control attacks, area of effect damages, just as before. And channeling it ends up being in strength pretty much the same thing as a charge attack was anyway. I think they balanced that out much better than before with this whole new system, especially with the block as well, and that's more or less all there is to Melee 2.0. They improved the damages, they made them stronger, they gave you a channeling. They give you stances with combos. Performing the combos gives you finisher moves, which are more or less an animation in the attack types that they do, kind of like charge attacks. Blocking now works perfect, and because it has become so overpowered, you don't have quick block and you don't have an extended quick attack range of quick attacks, making the whole idea of equipping your weapon actually, have a point to it. Okay, where are the rest of them? I think you'll be practically invincible if you could also fire in ranged, engage them in ranged attacks and block and do all these things, whereas now I want to take them on ranged. The delay that I have to actually equip the ranged weapon. It's just enough to make it balanced in a way. And okay, I don't have block anymore, which anyway, you barely use block anyway. The whole idea of ranged anyway is to try to use your cover and take people down from ranged. I mean, that's the whole point to it. So I really think that this whole idea behind it has differentiated between the two strategies, giving melee and ranged strategies their own characteristic now. You'll notice players in game that are much more involved with ranged attacks. You'll be able to see the difference because they won't be able to do the same amount of damage or combos or block the way you will if you're focused on melee weapons. And you'll be able to tell the difference between players that actually know how to use all the strategies, adding even more to the whole idea of player skill to the game. And it has a lot of variety to it too. Me personally, I'm more of a melee kind of guy, and I really enjoy the fact that now the amount of things that I can do in combos and the things that I can perform with my melee attacks when I have equipped my melee weapon is superior to someone that is a ranged player and they just want to, you know, hack and slash every now and then whenever an enemy comes close. Making a lot more sense as well as a game now, the whole way that it has been created. Just so I can show a couple of those things. When you go into upgrade now, we have this extra slot here. That's where you actually put your stances. And I'll add the darker prime, which I already have a stance in it. Just so I can show what the combos look like. Once you go in here and you have equipped it, you have this button here which is melee combos. At the moment it doesn't show because I have it on mouse button 5. I personally changed the buttons around in the options just so I can see what the combinations are. It shows you what the combinations are, basically what you need to press for each one of the combos to be done. This is, oh, it's a rare, Iron Phoenix, okay. Even better, I think I'll put the Kai tag, whatever it's called, which I have a stance for that as well, just so I can portray the whole idea of how these are the equivalent, how the finisher moves are the equivalents to charge attacks. This is the quick attack, like I was saying before. You can't do more than that, that's all you can do. And you can't block. So melee is kind of weak when you're engaged in range. As soon as you pop over to melee, you can block, you can channel, which was pretty awesome as well. And you got more moves on your, now there's an extra move usually on your whole combo. And now let's see for the combo itself. I think it's 1, 2. Yep. Let's just find some space where we can show that. As you saw though already, that move is pretty much the charge attack, but it's put into the stance itself as a finisher move. Not only that, but the finisher move has 2 of those. So you have one animation, then you have one, and you can leave it up to there, just like the old one, which does AoE, area of effect damage all around the character and hits twice, just like the charge attack used to. And now you have one, and you also have a bigger one as well, which pretty much does even more damage. It attacks everybody twice again, and it's even more powerful. It has made charge attacks less spammable. The whole idea behind it is that you can use these attacks now, but they're not as spammable as before. I mean, it takes an entire animation. It takes an entire animation sequence before you're able to pull off some of these moves, and I guess that we could say that increases the difficulty, but it also increases the difficulty slightly by comparison. But it also increases at most the variety of the game. Hey, I guess it's an Easter egg, literally an Easter egg. That's pretty much all there is to it. They have added also the ragdoll kind of physics dynamics to the whole melee attack system as well. Characteristics of weapons remain to be the same. If you have a stance, for example, for specific swords, and you know all swords have the same stance, they might all do the same combo, but there are different effects with different swords. Like the heat dagger, for example, has fire damage every time it has specific attacks. It still has that fire damage, and it's actually, there we go. I think I killed them all. Nope, there you go. Which is actually unique to the heat dagger itself, even though the stance might be the same for all the swords, and even though all the swords might end up doing the exact same animation, which they all have some differences, a lot of weapons have differences. The characteristics of the weapons are not taken out. So a lot of complaining that people have been having that, you know, what's the point of having a heat dagger, what's the point of having this or that? It's not entirely true anymore, because the characteristics of the weapons remain to be still there. Do I have to scan this or something? What's the point of it? Anyway, it's not true. The characteristics of the weapons are still there, they're intact. The animations of the charge attacks have been added into combos, making it a little bit more interactive as a game, instead of just pressing one button all the time, especially with a charge skill like this on the jack attack or kite attack, I don't know how it's pronounced. All you did was just hold it and attack, hold it and attack, just hold the charge button all the time. This obviously adds a little bit more color to the whole system. You need to get used to it, obviously. I mean,
Heavy Grenier approaching.
I had to be stuck, didn't I?
You're on the sensors now. You've been detected.
You know, I mean, you can still spam attacks, but obviously you can't compare it to just holding down a button and doing the same thing again and again. Not to mention the fact that now the whole idea behind blocking works differently. You have charge attacks, channeling attacks as well. Speaking of which, so that guy, for example, he tried to push me with a shield, with a block, he couldn't do anything to me. They've really made melee fighting so much fun. It's so much fun. You can do things now. You can actually, it's so much fun. You can actually do things now in a more real-time basis than before. Really, there's no comparison, I believe. I don't think it's much. I mean, here I'm blocking levels of that attack as well, which is, yeah, I just blocked his knockdown. And something which could not happen in the old melee system. See if I can power up one of these. There are a lot of Easter eggs around here. They took the idea of an Easter egg literally. Okay.
Stay focused. There's a heavy crew approaching.
There you go. Channeling. I mean, these guys are already too weak for me. Channeling and the finisher on a combo should be really devastating. I mean, it just ruins everything in the whole place. The characteristics of the weapons are still there, and it's even better than before. I really don't see what the fuss is about with people complaining on the charge attack not being there. Now we have channeling, we have an entire range of strategies that we can go through, which is includes blocking, and includes changing from range to melee. And the fact that the complete melee overhaul and buff that they made doesn't make you too strong. Oh my god, this thing just ruins everything. God, this thing just wrecks everything into pieces. Quite awesome, really. So like I was saying, I really don't get what the big deal is with the charge attack. The charge attack was a spammable attack anyway, and we still have it, and so much more. We have our blocking now. Where do you think you're going? And another thing about Ash himself, now it actually makes sense to use teleport, because you're trying to close your distances. And you can also mix and match your strategies with friends. Someone might be ranged, they're not that good against specific attacks, they can't block against them and stuff. You might be the melee warrior jumping in the front lines, so you need to actually be able to block some things while a friend of yours picks enemies out, with a bow or something from a distance. It really does change the strategy around of how you all approach the game together. And personally, so far, even with this weapon, I'm not finding any problems aiming and just doing what I want to do with my maneuverability during combos. I've heard that complained by a few, and I don't see a problem. I mean, it's harder than just pressing a charge attack button and hitting them, obviously, by comparison, but it's not that hard to aim at them. Really, I haven't noticed something like that. I really think that the Melee 2.0 has been really balanced to make character melee engagements actually makes sense now. And that's all there is to it. I mean, we're space ninjas, and the game had become much more of a much more of a shooter rather than ninjas running around with swords killing things. Okay, I got this. I think that must have hurt. Obviously, I'm among the people that are really happy with this update. I'm really happy with the new weapons. I mean, we have the Nikana finally, a ninja weapon, a samurai-themed weapon from the feudal times. I mean, I've been waiting for a katana for so long. Finally, we got that. We have a new Warframe as well, which is pretty cool and pretty unique. And we finally have a melee system that works wonders. I mean, it differentiates between ranged and melee players more. It forces you to be much more strategic in the way that you will approach everything according to what you need, what kind of weapons you might want to use for, let's just say, enemies that fly around, for example, like some of the Grineer, like on Earth and other planets. Makes your approach much more strategic. You have to be much more aware of what you're doing, to switch back to melee and be able to block. And it makes melee itself, with its blocking and combos and everything, just so much fun and so interactive in real time. Basically, I'm loving this patch, and I hope this little showcase was enough to get more people loving it as well. I'm sure that there should be some bugs with it or some little shortcomings with it, but of course we have always had this kind of problems with any kind of game, whether it be Melee 1, Melee 2 or Melee 3, whatever they're going to release. That's usually how games go, and they always strive to fix them. There's always going to be some balancing issues. So far I'm finding no problems with the game. and I'm really enjoying this new melee system. Another thing about the melee 2.0, we have new mods as well. The few that I have equipped at the moment here, there's a couple more that I've collected, but I won't get into those. For example, with my dual commas, I have put the mod channeling damage, 120% extra channeling damage, making my channeling blows even more powerful. Then we have channeling efficiency, which reduces the amount of energy you need to perform channeling attacks. That's something that I forgot to mention. Channeling attacks now, when you activate channeling, your block or your attack that actually strikes someone uses up a little bit of your energy. So basically you're using energy to get more damage out of it. These mods here, the channeling efficiency, allow you to use much less energy for the same effects. And here's more channeling efficiency. You know, there's a couple extra mods. There's like bleeding mods. There's an entire range of mods like this one here, second wind, plus 30 stamina on melee kill, which was an old mod and has been changed now, and it has minus 60% channeling efficiency. So you have a lot of mods now that they do a lot of things while you're channeling with your weapons, and they reduce your channeling efficiency, so you can't do too many of them. You know, you have more power. You have obviously your weapons are more powerful, so you can't have. So it takes more energy for them to actually perform those attacks, those channeling attacks. I think it's really balanced. I'm really enjoying the whole system behind it and the whole approach, and I'm hoping that they're going to add even more stances. It looks like that's the direction they're going for. If you head over here to the mods, we have a new category here now, which is stance. Once you go into the stances, these are all the stances. The question marks are the ones that I haven't got, that I haven't found yet, and these are the ones that I have found. Cleaving Whirlwind, Iron Phoenix, you know. And there are more than one stance for a lot of weapons, and I'm guessing and hoping that they're going to release even more stances in the future with more animations and more variations to what each weapon can do, which is really awesome. You can use a weapon that you really like, and it's kind of like mixing and matching animation styles and area of effect, damage types from different fighting styles, and putting them over to weapons that you might really enjoy playing with. The last thing I was saying before as well, as you can see here now, you go to equip your weapons, and you have the option of selecting none. You also have the option of selecting none here as well, which just makes you, I think it makes it really badass walking into a mission just with a katana, but you know, it's also very challenging. Don't forget, it adds a lot of experience, extra experience onto your weapon for playing in this mode. And I think I'm going to leave it like that for now. Feel free to comment below on your opinions on what you think of Melee 2.0. Personally, like I said, I really enjoy the new system, and I really like the fact that, you know, we have separated the two styles of ranged fighting and melee fighting, and pretty much balanced them out as well to finally make melee fighting a much more powerful approach in the game than it was before. Don't forget to subscribe if you like what you see, and keep in touch for more videos coming out soon. Thanks for watching Let's Play Warframe with Hazard Reborn. I'll see you next time.